You want to know how I got such a good deal on this Ducati right here? It's because it was broken. And like a lot of other Ducati riders out there, the previous owner of this bike did not want to do the work to get it on the road. And I love when that happens, because usually that means that you can get a bike for super cheap, pour just a little bit of money into it, and then get an amazing motorcycle on the other side. And I'm going to prove it. Now, this doesn't just apply to Ducatis. I've done this before with a couple of bikes. I've done this with my F4i. I've done this with my van, of all things. I've bought a bunch of cheap vehicles, put a little bit of money into it, and come out with a very useful thing on the other side that, in the case of my F4i, I could have flipped for upwards of $3,000. Now, I am not flipping this Ducati right here. I'm actually giving it away. So if you want to win this badass machine, click the link down in the description below and get yourself entered to win. You have until November 10th at midnight PST to get yourself entered to win. Link is going to be down there. But I know a lot of people out there are probably thinking, this thing was broken. Why would I want to enter to win it? Well, you remember when I did that first ride? Yeah, that was after I fixed this motorcycle. I'm filming this like weeks after I did the fixing. Everything that you're gonna see today is the process I took to get this thing from running on one cylinder and making roughly 80 horsepower to making the full 162 and running like a dream. So I just got done doing the first thing on this bike, and unfortunately I did a pretty bad job filming it because it's actually really hard to film. So I'm gonna explain what happened and how, unfortunately, it didn't work. So in this bike, we have two cylinders, right? V-twin. So that means that we have two throttle bodies right here. And on each throttle body, there's a screw. That's called the air bleed screw. Everybody in the Diavel universe online seems to think that those screws hold this mythical power to make your bike better. They don't. It's like poking holes in your air filter, basically. So essentially, I just had to reset those screws back to the factory setting, and I went to take a ride and see if it changed anything, and it didn't. So that means that whatever damage this has done to the system has already been done. So I'm gonna need to move on, and the next step is gonna be tuning the bike. And my buddy's coming over later this evening to help me out with that. Alrighty folks, it's like 10 o'clock now. You can see it's dark behind me. And we've got the Diavel right there, my buddy Don and his cheap old Alienware computer that we're using to attach the connect to the Toon Boy dongle. Apparently it can take a while, so I've got it on the charger because it's got to be on. And there's the little dongle plugged into the fancy port, and then pulling up the file over there.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Alrighty folks, the tunes process didn't quite work last night. The Toon Boy program is actually really finicky. It's a guy in Australia, and he builds the stuff himself, so they can behave a little bit funny from time to time. And I figured right now, since I'm riding up to my buddy's place to actually get the tune installed on this motorcycle, I'd show you what we're kind of experiencing with the bike right now. So currently, I'm sitting on the highway, 90 miles an hour, with 16.4 as the consistent miles. Let's go to the current. We're doing about 18 to 19 miles per gallon right now, which gives you an idea of how much gas this thing is just burning. Just in case you don't believe me, how rich this motorcycle is running right now. I have 41.5 miles on this tank. And this tank is already on, the fuel light already came on. 42.3 miles. Youch! Youch, youch, youch. That's bad. 3.5 gallons. Holy shit. 3.5 gallons to go 40 miles. What is this, a pickup truck? In case you wondered whether or not we're at the right place, my buddy has the exact same exhaust as this one does. So we're gonna get the bike just right.
All right, it is now flashing. So we're gonna just wait and see. I actually think that this bike has a shithouse flash on it already because there's no way in hell a stock ECU is going to dump fuel like that. And for whatever reason, TuneBoy couldn't find the serial number for the ECU. And it should have a serial number on it. So my guess is it's cracked. And whoever cracked it did a very bad job. So, fingers crossed. What would be convenient for this flashing process is if they filled up the tack right here with a progress meter.
Alrighty folks, we officially have the tune on the bike, and I wish I could report that it has solved all the problems, but it has not. Current theory is that the sparks are fouled. It's running less rich, which is good. However, if the spark plugs are fouled, there's no way we're going to get a complete burn on gas no matter how much we pour in there. So the beauty of this bike is that there's only 2 spark plugs, forward and rear. So next cut in the show, swapping the spark plugs.
Those aren't the worst sparks I've ever seen. So that's the old stock plug that was in there. It's probably been in there a good long time, probably the original plugs. And then here's the new one, same model. I'd be willing to call this plug fouled. And here's a little trick I've found for getting spark plugs into threads that are really deep in a head. This is some old fuel line, and it fits right over the edge. So I'm going to run that down and use that to start threading it up, because there's no way I can provide enough torque on this spark plug to strip anything out. And so I'm just going to turn it until it gets happy and bottoms out, and then I'll just pull the thing free. There we go. There we go. Now let's get the other one on. God damn it. Oh. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So this is the rear plug and this is the front plug. So clearly the front cylinder was running, or is running, a lot richer. That's weird. There's clearly 2 different things happening at once. Well, no matter what's going on, gotta get a new plug in the rear. Fingers crossed. Oh shit. Forgot the dashboard. Won't start without that. Glad I caught that. There. Now it'll be happy. Wow, does it sound better now? It is smoking, but I'm noticing the smoke is getting less. I think it's just burning it off because it was running so rich. It sounds so much better. Alrighty folks, you're gonna have to forgive me, I'm doing this hand cam style on the big camera because I just took the Diavel for a rip, and I gotta say, it's amazing what a couple of tweaks will do to this motorcycle. Before, like I said, it was running maybe like 80 horsepower. I could not get it over 100 miles an hour. It felt really horrible. And there were a couple of mistakes that led to this bike feeling horrible, and I suspect it's the reason why the original owner sold this motorcycle. What they did was they got an exhaust. They got their CompWorks exhaust, and they didn't buy a flash. That's mistake number one. You need to flash this motorcycle. You absolutely must. Two, they tried to compensate by using the air bleed screws, and that is not what they're for. They're for setting the idle mixture and stuff like that. It's an EU deal. You're not changing the trim tables by turning those screws. You're making things worse. And so all those people out there on the Diavel forums who are doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice. Just buy a fucking flash. And for anybody out there who's wondering, this is straight from a Ducati tech. If you suspect that your screws have been futzed with and you got a used bike, the stock setting is 1.5 turns out from bottomed out. So all you need to do to set it is you turn the screw all the way in lightly, because they're plastic, lightly, you bottom it out, then you do 1.5 turns out. And that's a good base setting. Other than that, you cannot fix it in your garage because you need a sniffer to do the job right. And then the second mistake is they just didn't check the spark plugs, man. You just need to put new spark plugs in and stop the misfire. So it's just compounding issues that stem from being too cheap. You bought a Ducati, you bought an exhaust for it. Save a little extra money and buy yourself a tune. You're gonna save so much work.
Now, while we're talking about spending money on the right kind of parts for your bike, it would be remiss of me not to mention Quadlock. They're the purveyors of this realm's finest phone upgrades this side of Rivendell. Pop by their shop and find yourself their legendary phone armor of Glorfindel with +1 to drop protection. Or mayhap you have a Quadlock case and you have yet to outfit it with their finest accessories, like the base of magic electricity, which can wirelessly charge your phone while it's on the handlebar, or the mag wallet of holding, which carries your cards snugly on the back of your phone. Browse their humble wares by clicking that link down in the description below, and a huge shout out to Quadlock for sponsoring this video.
Thank you, my lady. Have you run out of those nice shiny daggers?
Alrighty folks, as you can probably tell, we are in full-on do as I say, not as I do situations here, because I am squidding it hard right now. I just wanted to show you as we go to get some gas for the bike and just a little bit more of that, or just get the Techron stuff. I wanted to show you how much power this thing is making now. And I'm sure you can hear that kind of high end. That sort of top end was not there. It was all low end. It was really bassy. But now, it is just insanely potent. This thing is unbelievably fast, like terrifyingly fast, and it sounds so good. I do love how quickly the gas mileage is going up on this trip meter right now. It's where it needs to be. Before it was like it was below 11.7, and 11.7 is the lowest it would go. So it's doing good now. All right, let's run in, grab this Techron crap. Okay, so pour an entire contents into a nearly empty with up to 20 gallons. All right. A little bit of this Techron. some high-octane dyno juice. You know, I'm pretty sure that the O2 sensors have been working a little bit. Now that it's up to temperature, it's running even smoother down low. Man, do I love that sound. That's the super cruiser that I wanted. Oh man, it's actually surprising how easy of a fix this all was, you know? When you think about it, what did I do? I swapped the spark plugs, I turned 2 screws, and then I put a tune on this thing. And it's already a completely different motorcycle. That's pretty shocking. But it also goes to show how easy it is to screw up a motorcycle, you know? As easy as it was for me to fix this thing, it was easy to ruin it. I really wish that car would get further up ahead of me. Wow, is this fast? Wow! Oh, I don't want to give this away. I don't want to give it away. Oh, some lucky bastard is going to get this fucking motorcycle.
All right, let's finish this sumbitch up. Sick of working on this bike. Never, ever, ever use Permatex on drain bolt. That's fucking stupid. Ooh, that's good. That's Motul. Yeah, I'd recognize the Motul red anywhere. Relatively fresh too. That's good oil. That's what I like to see. Wiggle pull, wiggle pull, wiggle pull, wiggle pull, wiggle pull. Come on, let go. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. That might be why. Oh my God. I am gonna have to poke a hole in it. I really don't like doing that. It's really dangerous. Unscrew! Holy shit. This filter's really the f on there. Ah! Oh yeah, I'm definitely tearing a hole in the filter. Oh, man. In case you were wondering how tight is too tight, this is too tight. I still can't do it by hand. I still need this wrench. There it goes. Now I can move it. Got it. Holy f***, was that hard. There, that's all it is. I can still back it off real easy. It's just hard for me to grab it with all the oil on there. So, that feels happy to me. All right, let's get the pipe back on. There it is. Okay, 3.5 quarts. All right, let's do a quick little level check here. I did run it for a little bit. Just a little, just a hair smidgen on the high side, maybe. It's about the happy spot. Now for the fun stuff. I convinced Quadlock to send me a whole bunch of gear to put on this bike. So if you are watching this and you end up winning this bike, reach out to me. I'll get you a Quadlock case for your phone. For this one, we've actually got the Pro metal bar mount. I think those look super nice. So, and then for this guy, we're going fancy and wiring up one of their wireless chargers. So I'm gonna need to undo, I think, the headlight. The best way to do this. Okay, so this is the DRL right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wire this guy into the headlight side of the DRL. So I'm gonna D-pin this, run these wires in there, and then I'm gonna solder them on. And then in theory, when I turn the bike on, this should turn on. And then I'm gonna solder it right onto the back there. And then this should, in theory, also remain waterproof. All right, those aren't my best joins ever, but they will work and they will get the job done. So now we need to repin this. And I'm gonna need to do this over by the bike because I don't remember which way's which. When I turn the headlight on, that should turn on. Yep, got a blinking light. Ta-da! And there we have it. Sorry for doing this hand cam style, but it's just gonna be a little bit easier for me to show this off. There we go. So there's the head. I actually moved the clutch cylinder over a little bit so that I have some room right here. And then I ran the wires into the headlight assembly. So if I pop this on, and then we turn the bike on, wait for it. There you go. Now it's wirelessly charging. Now usually I would do a post ride after I do all this work, but I've already done it. It was my first ride impressions that I filmed after I fixed this motorcycle. I actually waited to do that whole video because I wanted to make sure that you guys weren't going to throw your money at something that wasn't worth your time. And the best part about all this was the most expensive thing I've done was the oil change. Spark plugs are, well, no, technically the most expensive thing I did was the tune. That was $150. It was like $120 to get all the oil filter because it says Ducati on it. It took me roughly, we'll call it $300 to get it working. And the funny thing is, you can do this with a ton of different bikes. As long as you know what to look for when you're test riding or looking at a bike that doesn't start or perhaps doesn't run all that well, you can get yourself a whole lot more bike than you think. Though you do kind of have to be willing to accept the fact that you might have bought a 1200cc 30-year-old paperweight that is currently back at the shop getting the carburetors redone. I spent $700 on that bike. And then I spent another $2,500 plus 35, $6,000 on it. Oh my God. Well, no use crying over $6,000 worth of spilt milk. Click that link down in the description below and get yourself entered to win this bad boy right here. That is one of the best ways you can support the channel and win yourself an awesome bike at the same time. So all of the information is down there. You've got till November 10th to get entered to win. And while you're down there, check out everything that Quadlock has to offer. And I'm gonna go cry now because somebody thought it was a great idea to buy a $700 VMAX and then spend a bunch of money trying to fix the thing up. God damn it.